الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه وأزواجه أجمعين أما بعد. The Houthis shot some missiles at Israel, so-called Israel. Many Arabs went again crazy about it and praising, and the Arabs didn't do anything. I would like to remind you all that the Houthis were created by the Iranians. Just because they shot missiles at the Jews doesn't justify what the Houthis did. Don't you remember the death and destruction they brought to Yemen? The death and destruction, it's unbelievable. The theft of people's food that was coming to them from other areas, they stole it all. The oil, they stole all the money. They changed the curriculum to be according to what religion Khomeini wanted to have. For Muslims, they changed the curriculum. Death and destruction, that's continuous. The qat. Don't you see? One of them, they have so much qat inside their mouth, the mouth could like just explode. So would a couple of missiles hitting Israel justify their kafir creed? They're Jafari. Yemenis, the majority of them are Zaidi. The Jafaris are different than the Zaidis. They both are Shia. They both have major problems, especially in the creed, but they're different. The Houthis changed their religion from bad to worse. They became Jafari. What are the Jafaris? Quran has been changed and corrupted. They don't accept the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They claim that those who transferred the Quran and Sunnah from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to the world became kuffar, except for 7, 10, 14. They also accused your mother. Ya Muslim, Ya Muslim, Ya Muslim, Ya Muslim, Ya Muslim. They accuse your mother Aisha of being a zaniya. How can you tolerate that because of a couple of missiles? Also, did you forget this war by the Jews against Gaza? The latest round was started by Hamas, October 7th. So this current war, the Jews are inflicting on Gaza that caused the death of close to 50,000 people in Gaza and the West Bank. Half of the population of Gaza are refugees inside Gaza. 5 miles by 25 miles, that's all. That's all the size of Gaza. And the Iranians who created, the Houthis who created the death and destruction in Syria. In Syria, ya Muslims, so many men, women and children were killed, slaughtered. They're claiming that there are 100,000 corpses of Muslims that they can't find in Syria. And Hezbollah. What about Hezbollah? Those damn criminals who did not send one soldier inside the north of Palestine, people call it Israel, not even one soldier to relieve the pressure on Gaza. And they're the ones who incited Hamas to do it again and again and again. Then they didn't send anybody, but they sent quickly 20 to 30,000 fighters to kill Muslims in Syria from Lebanon. Are you going to forget that because of the missiles that they shot by the hundreds on the Jews? They didn't send 200, 100, 50, not even one of those courageous Jafari kafirs who went to Syria to kill Muslims. They didn't send even one to fight the Jews because they're not fighting the Jews. Skirmishes here and there, yeah, over dominance. All the kuffar do that. How did World War I start, by the way, in Europe? They were fighting Christians against Christians, killing each other by the millions, fighting over land and dominance. The Iranians did not fight the Jews, period, since they started this revolution that they call Islamic. It's a Jafari Kafir revolution. They didn't fight the Jews. They shot hundreds of missiles when the Jews killed some of their officers who were killed in Syria, killing the Muslims. Are you forgetting all of that? For a couple of missiles by the Houthis, does this justify the crime they committed? So they were created by the Iranians, the Houthis, to bring the Jafari religion to Muslim land. Just as the case is with Syria, all Alawis, the Ismailis, the Druze, the Christians are about 25% of the population. 75% is Muslim, Sunni. They also have a lot of divisions and sects. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Just as the case in Lebanon, the Shia in Lebanon are a minority. They're not a majority. They are a minority. In Yemen, the Zaydis are a minority among the population of Yemen. The Zaydis are a minority in Yemen. The Sunnis are more. The Houthis are a minority among the minority. Then they broke away with the Zaydis and became Jafaris. So don't go crazy about a couple of missiles. How come they didn't shoot all these missiles from the day the Jews started this latest war of extermination, of genocide against Gaza? They just remember of a few weeks. Why didn't they promise that we will not fight the Muslims, the Sunnis, okay, in Yemen until this war against Gaza stops? Did they do that? How many times some Muslims insist on becoming naive? Well, Iran didn't fight the Jews. Yeah, people, what's wrong with you? They did not fight the Jews. They never did. Hezbollah did not fight the Jews except for dominance, not for the Palestinians. Bring the proof. The Houthis never fought the Jews. Just shooting missiles here and there at this time, I am almost sure, and Allah knows best, the leadership in Tehran, the mullahs, are telling the Houthis, are you crazy? You just woke up from your qat effect. I don't think they can wake up from the qat effect, but anyway, are you crazy? Didn't you hear? We ran away from Syria. We took all these criminals we had there killing Muslims. We ran away. We took our weapons. We ran away. We left much also of the weapons and ran away. We abandoned Hezbollah. Hezbollah abandoned the Palestinians. They made peace, temporary peace with the Jews, and told Hamas, "Ma salama, take care of yourself." You see, those Iranians in Iran, the Jafaris, and when I say Iranians, I'm just talking about the Jafaris. I'm not talking about our Muslim brothers and sisters, the Sunnis, the Farisi Sunnis, the Turkish Sunnis. the Blush Sunnis, the Arab Sunnis in Iran were devastated by this regime. So the leadership in Tehran, Allah knows best, but maybe they're telling the Houthis, what's wrong with you? We were just defeated. Really. The Jews hit us very hard. The Jews killed the leadership of Hezbollah and hit Hezbollah in Lebanon very hard. They hit us in Syria before Bashar fell very hard, thousands of raids. But we never fought the Jews. What's wrong with you? We want them to come and hit us again? Because, the Jews, they're going to say, Houthis, Iran, let's hit Iran because Iran is the source of the Houthis, and they are. So Muslims who are, what, you're going to sign a contract with naivety? I'm going to be naive all the time. You forget all what they did against Islam and Muslims. They're still doing it. They're still doing it. They're changing the curriculum to make the next generation Jafari, Kafir, enemies of Islam. They never fought the Jews. Iranians never fought the Jews. Lebanese never fought the Jews. Hezbollah for the Palestinians. And the Houthis never fought the Jews. They're just shooting missiles. They just woke up. So are you going to take a contract with being naive just because of a couple of missiles and then you forget all what they did against Islam and Muslims? What does that mean? Let them fight the Jews. I don't care. It's not going to make me feel better about them. I'm just going to feel that is one tyrant against another tyrant. These people, they worship others besides Allah. People, the Quran is fake. Sunnah, they don't accept it to begin with. The companions who brought us Islam, they call them kuffar. Aisha, your mother, believer. If you are a believer, then Aisha must be your mother. And you accept that because of a couple of missiles? Not even 1 billion missiles would change my opinion about these Jafaris, the enemies of Islam, the kuffar. Not even for a second. So please wake up. And I think they just woke up from the cart. They didn't know that Iran was defeated. They abandoned their centuries-old dream of extending the Kisra Empire again. They thought from Afghanistan all the way to the Mediterranean, we have it. Then Syria fell and Hezbollah abandoned Gaza completely, as they did from the beginning, never fought for Gaza. And the Houthis now, you're waking up, a couple of missiles. I don't know, why don't you swim from Yemen all the way to Israel? The cart will help you. You never fought against the Jews. Just because many naive Muslims look at the Arabs and Muslims and say, look at the Arabs and Muslims, they're not fighting Arabs. They don't. I told you before many times, I'm a Palestinian from the West Bank. I grew up knowing that the Arabs don't want to fight Israel. Period. That's it. You can't deceive me by a little thing here or there. They're not. Also, other Muslim countries, they're not fighting the Jews. Which one? Turkey always has had excellent relations until today, including intelligence with the Jews. Don't forget that. Don't you ever forget that. Other countries, which countries you're talking about? So it's not only the Arabs and the Muslims. It's a disaster. And the biggest disaster is that the Muslims have become so lazy regarding knowing their religion, practicing their religion, calling to the religion, and defending Islam and Muslims. But a couple of missiles, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I can't believe how some Muslims just... You mean a couple of missiles that will make the Jafaris having an Islamic faith that would make them pure Muslims. All the while, they changed not anything in their creed. They still look at you, yeah, Sunni, look at the Houthis, they're doing this and that, look at the Houthis. They still look at you, the Jafaris, all over the world, as their greatest enemy, as a kafir who believes in a fake book, fake sunnah, fake companions, who believe that Aisha is their mother. They haven't changed. They will never change. It's you, yeah, Muslim, young man and woman, who are not fighting yourself for Palestine. I know, because you're watching from your screen, whatever it is, phone screen, computer screen, laptop screen, you're watching from far and getting angry and, fuming about it. But you haven't fought also. Why blame the others? I know why. It's because so many Muslims today, when they hear criticism in the Quran and Sunnah about what other religions, other cultures are doing, or about mistakes that they know they are happening among Muslims around them, they always look at the Muslim next to them, to this side and that side. It's because of you. You did it. You. Your heart is closer. Look at your heart. I swear by Allah, the Jews know that they are temporarily occupying Palestine. They know that. They know that. The day when this becomes a reality is in the knowledge of Allah. Is it going to happen in our time? Allah knows best. But a couple of missiles doesn't make a Jafari a Muslim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah.